Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. How's everybody doing today? Tuesday once again. I'm on every Tuesday, bringing you the fire, bringing you the fire content here. Calibrate Tools. We're here to teach you about tools. We promote trades heavily and all that stuff. DIY. Hey, that's what we're all about. We want you to be handy. We want you to know how to do it yourself. Okay, at least have some idea of what you're doing. And hey, I'm just a tool guy. I just love tools. How's everybody doing today? Come on in the chat and let your presence be felt. Let us know you're here. It's always good to know somebody's acknowledging the channel by coming in the chat, and you don't have to say a lot, even if it's just a hi or bye or whatever. That's what the chat's for, right? Once again, I do these lives just to just to connect with the audience, right? Instead of just you listening to me in some video, why not come in the chat here on the lives and we talk and we as they say, chop it up and discuss different topics, different ideas. We try not to stray too far from the topic or the theme of the channel, but sometimes it depending on what the subject matter is, it could take us anywhere, right? So you said the title of the live today is heading nowhere fast, maybe. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you look out there in the world, you see a lot of things going on that make you shake your head to be like, man, what's going on here? This world's going to the hell in a handbasket, or something like that. But that's what the media shows us. The media is designed to, you know, to pretty much stimulate you, right? It's kind of like a drug, right? They're not going to put that some guy walked an old lady across the street, or some. They're not going to put that on the media. That doesn't sell, right? They're going to put stuff out there that's, uh, you know, sensational, right? It's called sensationalism. Something that gets your blood flowing, keeps you watching, gets you talking. Something that you want to share to your friends. It's all it's all about the dollar bill, so they can get that advertising money, and based on that type of content, right? So yeah, you turn on social media, you turn on the news, and you're going to see all kinds of stuff, right? All kinds of stuff that's going to be like make you think that this is a pretty messed up place to be, right? But it's not. It's not. Like I said, it's all what you focus on. There's a lot more. I think there's a lot more, at least an equal amount of good happening in the world versus the negative stuff. Um, but yeah, the negative stuff. It's like a drug, right? Those dopamine levels have to be stimulated, right? So unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. But even in that, you even in the negative stuff, there's a lot to be um, there's a lot to think about, right? There's a lot to be gleaned from that stuff out there because, um, for example, I was talking to a friend and they mentioned uh, something about a rash of robberies and looting going on in these malls out here in California. And you turn on the news, and that's I heard about it. I didn't see, I didn't watch it or anything, but apparently there's a lot of people. There were a group of people that looted a store or something like that, and they made off with a lot of stuff. I think it was, from what I understood, it was worth $200 million. That's a lot of money. Okay, now you can say, okay, well, they're criminals or they weren't raised right. I mean, I guarantee you, some of those people probably were raised right, but they saw an opportunity and they took it, right. And we can get into that because you can talk about looting a store, and then you can talk about looting a nation, right? Because you can say, well, hey, we're all getting robbed to some degree, right? We're all getting stuck up, or by the government or by the IRS or whatever, um, all day long, right? Every time you got to pay taxes, right? So, but it's illegal. It's legal for them to do it, but it's illegal for a group of people who may need the money, may not. It's illegal for them to do it, but that's a whole other conversation. Um, when you're talking about the fine line between what's legal and what's illegal and who actually makes the laws. But let's just talk about what's the illegal part, right? The illegal part. Um, yeah, the system set up that if you break a law, you're gonna pay the price. You're gonna pay the cost, and that's why I urge my young folks who may be involved in this type of activity to think long and hard about the decisions you make. You may get away with something, but it may catch up to you later, right? It may catch up to you later. And I don't know how many of the individuals were caught. Like I said, I didn't look too deep into the story, but I don't know how many of them were caught, but they could have made different choices, right? They could have made different choices. Hence the title of my live today, Heading Nowhere Fast, maybe, because it's all about the decisions you make, right? If you if you think long and hard and say, okay, I planned, I strategized, I'm going to go loot that store and maybe get away with it, then hey, that's on you. At least you thought about it, right? You didn't just impulsively say, let's go do this, and then you end up spending 5 years in jail for robbery, or however long they give you if you get prosecuted and found guilty. Or you could say, hey, no, I'm not going to do that. I got too much to lose, right? That's the difference. If you have too much, if you got other things going on, right, that's going to secure your freedom financially, secure your freedom in a lot of other ways. If you want to put that at risk to go possibly hit a lick and come up quick, and that's most of the time doesn't end well. I know there's some stories where it does end, but then where the person gets away, but then you're looking over your shoulder for a while, or however long you have to, and that's no way to live, right? So what other opportunities are out there, all right, that may take longer for you to get that bag, quote unquote, get the bag, but you will have peace of mind. You won't be looking over your shoulder, right? You won't be looking over your shoulder, and you can actually build a good life, right? And have the financial freedom that you seek, right? And instead of going for the fast stuff, right? So that's all up to you. That's all the choice you got to make. So I'm really directing this towards mostly young folks. I know it's probably some older folks too, probably could hear this, and it probably needs to hear this. But yeah, so think about it. And a lot of times I realize I don't want to take away accountability from our youth, right? But they do need to be guided, and I think they were misguided in a lot of ways, and there were things beyond their control, beyond our control, that that cause us, right? So I'm not going to separate myself from the masses. I'm not, anybody like. I'm not trying to sit up here on a high horse and say, I was the greatest kid either, but there were things beyond our control, all right, and some like beyond the control of the kids today that may, make them think, hey, look, this is the only opportunity I have. There's nothing else going on for me, and so I'm going to do this, right? Think about it. On this channel, I talk about trades all day, all the time. That's what this channel is about. I promote trade skills. I tell you guys, hey, there's so much opportunity in the trades if you just apply yourself and go out there and handle business, right? It doesn't take that long to get certified in something, and it's all about consistency. If you're consistent with something, if you pick a trade, whatever that is, a skill, all right, you don't have to swing a hammer. I think a lot of people think about when you mention the trades, people think about swinging hammers. No, the trade you can be an IT professional. That's a trade. You can be a registered nurse. That's a trade. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the building trades, even though that's what I focus on a lot on this channel. I'm just talking about a skill, man. Get a skill that you get really good at, right? Get a skill that you get really good at where, you don't have to think about going to loot a store or something to get the bag or something like that. You don't have to, you don't have to think about the fast money all the time. When you lack when you lack opportunities in your head, that's when you start thinking about fast money, right? You don't think about all the other opportunities that are not so fast, but will set you up for life. Okay, it'll set you up for life. Things that they can't take away from you, right? Like learning a skill. Learn a skill, right? It's not necessarily a degree, right? I'm not talking about degrees. I'm talking about a skill. Learn a skill and master that skill, you know, and you'll be set. You'll be set. Okay. So yeah, you don't want to you don't want to go nowhere fast by making the wrong choices. Like some of these people, I'm sure they're probably regretting what they did. At least the ones that got caught, right? Because it's so hey man, the world is full of temptation. Um, it's so much out there that's tempting, especially young people today, right? Especially with social media and the ability of social media to influence the minds of young people. I mean, they were born and raised in it, right? Born and raised in it, and it's just so much a part of them. So that's kind of a hard obstacle to overcome in today's day and age, unless you're really on top of your kids, right? Because if you got to go to work and your kids are sitting there at home, they got a babysitter, and that babysitter's their phone, right, or their computer, right? And that's who's pouring all this stuff into their head about their own identity, because they're comparing themselves to so and so with the Bugatti on social media, right, or the fancy car, or the one with all the women, or whatever. They're comparing themselves to that, so they say, okay, well, if that's what life is if that's what life's supposed to be like, if that's what I'm supposed to be like, if that's what the standard of success is that I see all the time, because my head is stuck on that phone all day long, guess what? It's going to condition you or them to want those things more, right, than the previous generations where it wasn't as prevalent. We weren't bombarded with all these messages all day long and all night long, right? I mean, how many people have kids where the kid is falling asleep with, looking at social media, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, their head stuck in the phone, right? All this stuff is pouring into them, right? So when you hear about smash and grab, whatever, uh, uh, things happening in the mall, that wasn't happening like maybe about 10 years ago. I don't remember that stuff happening about 10 years ago. Right? You didn't hear about that. That's because people today, we've been influenced, we've been conditioned, right, to want certain things, right? To put value on the most materialistic things. That's where we put value. That's where our value is. And then of course you're going to see things like that happening, right? So I'm not, I don't want to come down hard on anybody. I mean, I'm sure that whoever was involved, right, is going to, whoever got caught, at least, they're gonna pay the price, some in some form or fashion. And even if you didn't get caught, right? Let's just say you went out there and you made some money off of that stuff that you took. Well, what are you gonna do with that? You're gonna go buy a big chain so you can wear around your neck, or you're gonna get on social media and talk about how you how you did this and how you did that. That's the thing about social media. There's no shame today, right? People get on social media. I'm talking about men and women, young men, young women, boys, girls. They get on social media and talk about. I mean, they let the world know what's about things in their life that's nobody's supposed to know about. Their sex life, intimate details of their sex life, like it's nothing. Just telling the whole world, yeah, I did this, I did that, and proud of it too. Not understanding how it's going to affect their future. Right. That's the dark side of this whole internet thing. Right. People just it's just exposing the uh, things that shouldn't be exposed, right, and ruining people's lives. And once again, it's a tool for good. At least I try to use it as a tool for good. I get on here and I try to educate people in my own way, and stay away from all that other garbage. You know what I mean? I could have probably triple, quadruple the amount of views on my channel if I was talking about something else. If I was talking about gossip, or I talk about the latest trend and stuff like that. But I didn't get on here for that. I got on here to educate, and especially my community, to be an example, to say, hey, look, we don't have to go there. We don't have to talk about all that other stuff. We can, this is some stuff that we can we can use, right, to help us succeed in life. And that's the sole purpose that why I'm here on social media right now. Okay, so let's get that straight. So yeah, the right choices, guys. That's what it's all about. Just making the right choices. We don't. I don't make the right choices all the time. Sometimes I make very impulsive choices that I got to sit back and say, okay, this is happening because I made that choice, right? So no, I'm not perfect. I'm working on that. But yeah. So yeah. What else though? What else, guys? There's a shortage of skilled trade workers in this country today. Okay, so if the guys who and girls, I don't know who went and robbed the store or whatever, maybe they don't want slow money. Slow money is boring, right? It doesn't it's not as stimulating, right? It needs maybe perhaps they know about the different opportunities out there in the trades or and they say, well, no, that's not for me, right? I want that fast money. I need it now. I need to get that car. I need to get that car now. I need to get that whatever now. And yeah, I hear you, man. Sometimes it's rough out here, and you need things now, right? You got everybody one they're cut from you, whether it's rent, whether it's bills, credit cards, this, that, and the other, and you got to pay them, right? You got to pay them. So sometimes you get desperate, right? And you go do things that you probably end up regretting, right? So, but yeah, that slow money is not as exciting. I get it. It's like they talk about drugs, right? They're like if you keep taking a certain drug long enough, that even that drug is not gonna be as effective as it used to be the first time you took it, right? You need a harder drug, right? And that's the trap. That's the trap right there. You know, and the harder drug, eventually that one gets boring too, right? And then you need to get a harder one, and then next thing you know, you become something that you never thought you would become, and that's the trap, right? That's the trap of uh, pleasure seeking, I guess. That's the trap of fast money as well, all right? Because one thing I've learned is that there's a part of us that's never satisfied, no matter what. I don't care if you got $300 zillion. There's going to be a part of you where that says that's not enough. I want more. It's like a bottomless pit. It's a bottomless pit that's in the human psyche. I don't know what it is. Call it the ego or whatever. It's never satisfied. And this is one. And I guess you can say a majority of people who chase success or who seek success or chase whatever they define as success, whether it's fame, whether it's money, whether success is usually defined in the West as those things, right? Fame and money on a surface level. But if we look at the ones who have achieved those things, right, that most people dream of or think that they want, those same people that have achieved those things are not even. I mean, look at their lives. Their lives is just as jacked up as anybody else's life. I mean, it's not. They just got more money to jack it up, to jack their life up with, or whatever. You know what I mean? And so should you really be seeking that? Right? What is the goal here? Right? What is the goal here? I guess you got to define it for yourself, but I would say that it would be finding fulfillment, right? Which is more than just chasing something and getting it, right? Because if you chase something and get it, then when you get it, okay, you feel like, okay, I conquered that. What's next? And then you discard that thing you just got, right? I don't know if that's the healthiest way to go about your life. And I'm not going to give a lecture on that, but that's just something to think about, right? What are you really after here? Family is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't want to be married or have a family. But I do think that you should be after something that's going to fulfill you and that will be of service, to your fellow man. Uh, when I say fellow man, I mean mankind. Um, yeah. So you without that North Star, right? Meaning true success, meaning true fulfillment, then you're gonna. I don't care how successful you are, quote unquote. You're gonna be still in that matrix, still in the matrix, man, thinking that you have it all, and still unhappy. You could be I don't know. You could be a zillionaire and still be, still be unhappy, right? So, but then again, you got to define what is happiness, right? I think a lot of people throw that word around too. What exactly is happiness? Me personally, I don't think happiness has anything to do. I don't think it only has to do with feeling good all the time, right? Uh, you can be happy and still feel bad. You can be happy and still, I guess I dare say, you could be happy and still be depressed at times or somber, about your life, because it's not about feeling good all the time. It's about growing. It's about growth, right? So if you understand that understanding in itself uh, is going to elevate you to a level beyond this, what we think happiness really is, because it's not those things that you think you want, right? The material things, the cars, money, and all that. No, uh, it could be just the desire to serve, right? Desire to serve and go through the hard knocks with somebody else, right? And have empathy about someone's situation, putting yourself in their shoes, right? And connecting with someone on their level, right? And possibly them connecting with you. That's beyond, the fancy car, the nice purse, you know, the, nothing wrong with having a lot of money, by the way, guys. I'm not saying go out there and become a poor person. That's not what I'm saying at all. All right. That's not what this challenge is about. That's not what these lives are about. But there's something beyond just stacking up numbers in a on a screen, right? So yeah. So but you're gonna head nowhere if you don't find out what that is for you, right? Whatever that is for you, you're heading nowhere, right? You're just on the treadmill, running, and as fast as you can to get, but you're not getting there, right? You're racking up these points, but for what, right? So that's the most important question I think we should ask ourselves. Is like, for what? What are we doing all this for? What's the point? Um, you know, I like the trades because you can build something with your hands, right? You can use your mind, you can use math skills, all combined to manifest something in the world of physical reality, not just as a hobby, but as something that can actually serve other people, right? Today, I was welding a lot today at the shop. You know, parts of the parts of a trailer, a welding mobile trailer that's going to be sent out there into the world to teach people how to weld, right? A mobile welding trailer. So I was working on the parts today, and as I was working, I was saying, okay, yeah, it's not just a piece of metal here I'm building. It's something it's gonna help people learn and possibly change their lives, right? For the better. And not possibly, it will, because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen over the course of 2 years. I've seen young people. When I say young, I don't mean teens. That could be part of it. I say from maybe uh, 18 to maybe even 16. There was a 16-year-old in this last class. Um, 16 to fit to, it could be 50 or more, right? That range, right? The minute you get a new skill, you change your life, whether you know it or not. Now, what you do with that, it's up to you. What you do with that skill, you don't have to do anything with it, right? But the fact that you have a new skill now, you're responsible for that new skill you have. And it doesn't mean you have to go out there and get a job in that field if you don't want to, even though that's what the program is designed to get people jobs for. Okay. But the fact that you have a new skill, it could be the fact that gaining that new skill gave you a new level of confidence in yourself, where you can go out in the world and actually be, uh, be of service with that skill, right? And not dependent on anybody, right? Because there's a difference between a skill and a job, right? A skill is something you can take anywhere in the world, anywhere, right? A job you can't take with you, right? So that's why I promote skills all day long. Get a skill under your belt, all right? And there's so much opportunity out there, right? I keep pushing on this channel. Skilled trade workers. There's such a big shortage, guys. Baby boomers, they're retiring, and they're they're getting out the game. So they need spots. They need people to fill those spots. Okay, and if you're looking for some kind of direction in life where you don't have to go into a store and rob it, then think about how about this? Think about put it like this: if you want to go get some knowledge, something that's going to stick with you, something that they can't steal from you, something that they can't lock you up for however many years. Go get those things, right? Those things are free in some cases, right? Like where I'm at right now, didn't cost these students anything to learn to get a certification in welding, right? Didn't cost them anything. So yeah, go look for programs out there that offer this stuff, right? A lot of these are nonprofits, and just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean it's not a business, right? That's just did you know that I think nonprofits are the business model of nonprofits are actually more than for-profits. So no, don't think that's because people are not getting paid. People are getting paid, trust me. But they have programs out there that can really help you out and will pay. They got some programs that'll pay you to go get a skill, right? To go get a skill that you won't lose, right? I got skills today that's been taking care of me for the last 30 years. Okay. And I didn't spend a lot of money getting these skills. I've been a trucker for a long time. I think I spent like $1,000 just to get my CDL way back in 2006. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made. Just getting that, Of course, I've done a lot of other things besides that, but since then, and before then, but that was one of the best decisions I ever made. So some of the best decisions you can ever make in life actually don't cost a lot, right? Actually don't cost a lot. So yeah, a lot of baby boomers. They're getting out of the game. Baby boomers are people who were born between 1946 and 1964. That's probably some grandparents for you guys. Probably some parents for you guys. So yeah, there's a vacuum. There's a vacuum that needs to be filled by skilled workers, right? And once again, I don't mean swinging a hammer. Okay, so get that out your head. There's nothing wrong with swinging a hammer. I like swinging hammers. I was swinging a hammer today. I wouldn't banging nails into wood, but I was using it to adjust my fit up for the metal that I was welding, and that's a good feeling too. Hey, I was swinging it like that. Felt good to me. Sounded good to me because I saw everything lined up in place, and then I put that weld bead on there, and then next thing you know, you got something, right? You got something that that you just built, right? So yeah. So guys, nobody in the comments, at least say what's up, say what's going on, Calibrate. Come on in the comments, say hi. I ain't gonna bite you. Yeah, but calibrate.com, guys. That's what this live is sponsored by. Check us out. We got some great products over there. I'm constantly expanding the product line. We got the holidays coming up. Okay, we got some great gift items on there to get for you or your loved ones. Check it out. Great way to support the channel. Okay, appreciate you guys. So yeah, so don't miss the opportunity. I mean, they got a lot of things coming down the pike today. Artificial intelligence, that's the big thing. That's the rage today. That's what everybody's talking about, right? The robots are going to take over. Yeah, and it's happening. I mean, if you look at one of my previous videos, even in welding, they got robots that weld, right? But what a lot of people don't realize is that in the trades and certain, matter of fact, I did some research on it. Let me see if I can find that. There are certain quote unquote jobs that artificial AI can't replace, right? Or at least it'll have a hard time replacing or take a longer time to replace, right? And that comes down to strategy, guys. You gotta think ahead. Okay, if you're on a football team, if you're on a football field and you're running that ball to the end zone, if you're smart, you're looking at the whole field. You're looking to see who's coming from the side, who's coming from the front, who's coming from the back to take you over. Well, AI can be considered that guy coming from the back to try to tackle you, right? So you got to have some kind of moves to put on him, or position yourself where if he does try to tackle you, then either he gonna fall flat on his face, or he might touch you, but he ain't gonna get you. So you got to be fast enough. So that analogy can be applied to like pretty much life, right? If you're setting yourself up for the future, right? What's coming behind you? What's already ahead, right? That you got to look for, or that you can put yourself in a good position to be able to, benefit from that, whatever's ahead, and not let that thing behind you take over you or tackle you, right? Artificial intelligence could be that, right? I mean, it's all over the place now. It's not like it wasn't there before, right? We've been using artificial intelligence. It's just got more. It's gotten more ubiquitous. That meaning that it's being used more now for more things. Okay, but there are certain jobs that it can't necessarily replace. Let me go down a list of some of them that I kind of ran across here. Agricultural jobs. Okay, let's see what it says about that. According to the study by the World Economic Forum. All right, I'm reading from an article by the site is called InsightGlobal.com. It says, let's say about agricultural jobs. They're expected to rise 30% between this year and 2027. So, hey, big ups to the farmers, man. Big ups to the farmers. Anybody out there growing their own food or know how to farm and sell their own food, you're going to have robots doing that soon. Okay. All right. So it says agricultural jobs are expected to rise 30% between 2023 and 2027, resulting in roughly 3 million additional roles. Generative AI cannot replace the physical manpower needed in these roles. That's number one. You're not going to see a bunch of robots out there picking tomatoes. I guess that's what they're trying to say, right? I don't know, but I've seen a video where they had this machine going down picking the fruits. I don't know. Okay, take this with a grain of salt. Agricultural supply chains are shortening with direct to consumer selling. The rise in agricultural technologies to combat climate change. Okay, those are the factors that are going to cause the agricultural sector to kind of blossom in the next 4 years. Educators. Okay, I consider myself an educator of sorts. I get on here and I teach people how to do certain things. And so let's see what it says about that. Both vocational and higher education jobs are expected to grow 10% in the next 5 years, resulting in blah, blah, blah. The reason for this growth is due to the soft skills required for educators that don't translate well to generative AI. Okay. What does that mean? What are these soft skills that they're talking about right here? What are soft skills? Empathy. I guess robots don't have empathy, right? Right. How could they, man? They're robots. They're just programmed. You can't program empathy into something, right? I'm sure they're trying though. And they probably get, but hey, maybe some of these people you meet out there, maybe they're clones or something. I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. That's just kidding. But anyway, empathy, you can't program that. Okay. Leadership skills, social influence, active listening, and people management. Okay. So those are the soft skills that AI, artificial intelligence, cannot replicate. So, and these are very, besides teaching somebody 2 + 2 = 4, a robot can teach them that, but it can't say to that child or person, it's okay. I understand you're having a little hard time getting that math equation right. Let's talk about it. Anything going on today at home that's bothering you? A robot's not going to do that, right? So yeah, educators. What others? jobs AI may not be able to replace. AI can automate many corporate roles, but human resources departments will always need a human with empathy and interpersonal skills to navigate employee relations. See, that's the thing. If you heard the phrase, "Hey, that person doesn't have a soul," well, robots don't have souls, right? So how could you? That's, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? That a robot or some artificially intelligent device or whatever it is can't empathize, right? It just can't. You can't program that. You can't create that, right? You can't code that, right? There's no HTML or JavaScript that can replicate genuine human empathy, right? Or interpersonal skills, as they say. All right, so that's human resources, right? So you guys in the human resources world, you're probably safe for now. Okay, probably safe for now. Let's see here. It does say, though, that AI is being introduced alongside HR processes to assist in repetitive processes. Yeah, of course. I mean, look at an assembly line. That's a repetitive process, right? So robots have been doing that for decades now, right? But the number of human skills needed to recruit, onboard, train, and oversee staff is incredibly hard to transfer to a machine. Yep. Couldn't have said it any better. It doesn't mean you got to get comfortable, though, guys. Okay, you should always you should always be trying to improve on your skills, your hard skills, right? Okay, lawyers and judges. Well, got to go to college for that. Get a law degree. What would you feel comfortable having an AI robot represent you as your attorney? I don't know. Let me think about that. That AI is not going to forget that law in that obscure law book way back in the back of the law library that could possibly save me in a trial or get me off, right? Get me off scot-free. So I don't know. Because isn't that what it is? You gotta, I don't know. But then when you're talking about the juries, right? You're talking about people the jury has to go deliberate whether they feel you're guilty or not, even based on whatever evidence they've heard. You know, sometimes people got, they have a heart for you and say, hey, and they let you go. So I guess AI can't do that, right? Like I said, it says right here, AI can be trained on laws, but it cannot possess the emotional intelligence to reason, argue, and persuade people the way that attorneys need to, right? So yeah, once again, those skills, those interpersonal skills, right? Reason, argue, and persuade. Now that's you can't quantify persuasion. You can't put a number on that. That's just something either you're able to do or you're not, right? And so yeah, so AI may be able to support lawyers. So I guess an AI would be a good paralegal. So maybe the paralegals need to watch out, right? Because they're the ones doing all the research. AI, in 2 seconds, they'll find that law that you need to find, right? So paralegals, maybe we'll get rid of them. So AI may be able to support lawyers in drafting documents or completing redundant, repetitive tasks, but people are necessary to review content. People are necessary to review the content and ensure the laws are upheld. Okay. Additionally, law positions require strong negotiation strategy and critical thinking skills. Once again, these are things you can't quantify. Okay, you can't. These are the you can't put a number on it. Either you have strong negotiation, strategic, critical thinking skills, right? That's something you got to develop. Now, I guess a robot can, I don't know, in some ways, have the power of deductive reasoning, I guess. But there's an element of the human being that you just can't replicate. That's why we're, I don't want to. Are we the top of the food chain? I guess we are to a degree, right? Okay, so yeah, so you need all that to navigate complex legal systems and ensure that their clients' best interest is at heart. Heart. That's the key word right there. AI doesn't have a heart, man. Some lawyers don't have a heart either, right? So the legal system doesn't have a heart, but that's a whole nother conversation. Government workers and politicians. Okay. I'm just kind of, I'm not going to go over this whole list. I'm going to jump down to the trades in a second. Um, yeah, imagine a robot running for president. I don't know. In America, maybe, man. This is America. We've seen all kinds of stuff happening out here today. Psychiatrists, psychologists, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you want to lay on the couch and tell all your problems to a robot? What are they gonna do for you? Um, I guess some people may feel, hey, they're doing that anyway with their own psychiatrist. Um, Medical staff, of course, you got to have that empathy for patients. Um, yeah, I remember. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember when my mother was ill in the hospital, and we went to see her, me and my siblings. And while we were there in there surrounding her, of course she couldn't talk at the time, whatever. And I guess some interns or like a doctor came in with a bunch of interns around him, and they all had this somber look on their face. I thought it was very. I didn't like the look on their faces. It wasn't happy, or the energy wasn't good. So why, if you're a doctor and you're walking into a patient's room with that kind of energy, I mean, that's not helping the patient out, right? And I'm not saying you got to be happy that the person's sick, but my goodness, I mean, at least anyway, I didn't like the energy. But there was one young lady out of that group that she actually had a smile on her face when she walked in. Everybody else didn't, including the main guy, the one who was the teacher or the doctor intern. And so I was pretty upset. It kind of got to me, and I told I actually spoke about it. I said out loud, you guys, I told them not to come in here with that attitude, because that's my mother there. I wasn't going to let that energy be around her like that. And I said, except for her. I'm talking about the girl that had a smile, because she brought a type of light into the room that was, who wouldn't like that, right? In that environment. And so hopefully that was a lesson to them, that if they walk into a patient's room in their medical careers, that they have a different type of energy about them, because energy is real, right? Whether you see it or not. I mean, it's a real thing. And I definitely felt the energy coming from the one young lady who had such a bright look on her face, happy look, like, man, that's, she was like the sun coming up, after a long night. And so yeah, AI can't replicate that. A robot's not going to do that. If you saw a robot smiling coming into your room, you probably think that's some kind of horror movie or some crazy looking, right? But genuine human empathy, or the ability to emit very positive energy, that's only human beings, right? And somebody say, oh, well, my dog does that, but it's not the same, human to human, right? When we're talking about, it depends on how someone looks at it, because they do have pets that come into a patient's room and actually help the patient, right? Because of that connection with that pet. But that's not all the time. Most of the time it's human to human contact. And AI can't replace that. Trade workers, plumbers, carpenters, construction workers, okay? Contractors and trade workers offer slightly different skills than the soft skills required in most corporate jobs. Instead, what electricians and plumbers offer beyond AI is dexterity, hand-eye coordination, and flexibility to work across a variety of job settings. Exactly. Now, if you go on a construction site or something like that, and you're working on a project, you don't necessarily need, what I was talking about before, like empathy and all that stuff. Yeah, that's necessary no matter where you go, but it's not, in certain environments, it's more required than others. Talked about the hospital environment, right? Being in the medical world, you definitely got to have empathy, right? In the judicial system, you got to have empathy, right? If you don't have some kind of empathy, you just, and you're going to send people to jail that don't need to go to jail, right? Our jails are full of those people, right? But like I always say, that's another conversation with, let's see here. Yeah. So as a tradesman, it's all about problem solving. Okay. That's what you're doing all day long. You're going to run into problems like even, okay, welding. Let's talk about welding for a minute. That's kind of my world right now. Okay. welding a bead is only one part of it. Okay, running okay, if you really want to know what it's about the machine breaking down. It's not working right. That's pretty much half of what welding is, because something's going to go wrong. Even today, there was a problem. I'm going along welding. Next thing you know, it's the wire's not feeding right. It's stopping as I'm welding, and keeps stopping. And like we spent like probably a good 30 minutes trying to figure the problem out. Still didn't figure it out. So trying to negotiate these problems that just pop up out of nowhere, all kinds of issues, right? It said dexterity, hand-eye coordination, flexibility, just problem solving, right? I don't know if AI is capable of solving every problem. You can't program every situation into a computer. You just can't, because some things you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. That's when the human ability to solve problems, spontaneous, crazy problems that come out of nowhere, that do not seem to have a solution. That's a human thing, right? That's a human. That's what makes us humans: the ability to negotiate those things. Okay, so AI is not going to replace. Okay, it's not going to replace a tradesman, someone in the trades. Okay, that's why I promote getting skills in the trades. Okay, because you're not going to replace that fast. Now, if you're a number cruncher, maybe, or you're doing repetitive tasks out there, you know, you're on assembly line or something like that. Yeah, you better watch out. Okay, you better start either leveling up or you will be phased out. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. Okay, doing repetitive tasks all day. That's a thing of the past now. They got robots for that. So start going into higher levels of your intellectual coffers and or creative coffers, and try to stake out a place there, because that's where you're going to survive. Okay, so you got to climb a little high on that mountain, because on the base level, everybody's going to be wiped out. Everybody's going to be wiped out. So we all got to take that in consideration. Okay. So anyway, guys, yeah, heading nowhere fast, guys. That's up to you. That's why I said maybe in the title, right? You don't have to go nowhere. You can actually go somewhere and carve a path for yourself out there in this thing we call life. So anyway, hope you got something from this live. Don't forget to go to calibrate.com. Please hit the like and subscribe. Okay. Got some great content coming out every week. Okay. And you guys take care. Appreciate you. And you guys have a good one. See you next Tuesday.